I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investment Pitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we're live at CES 2019 in Las Vegas with Bruno Delahaye, the Chief Growth Officer of Neurochain. Bruno, pleasure to see you today, and it's great to see that you guys are at CES. How are you guys doing?
We're doing very well. Thanks for having me. And it's great to be in your show today.
Thank you very much for attending. Let's start with a quick background of Neurochain for those that are in the space that aren't familiar with the project and how you guys are able to compete with some of the other major blockchains.
Yes, so Neurochain is the next generation of blockchain protocol. It's been developed looking at what was the different flows and the issues that blockchain had in deploying in the real economy. So we've entirely rewritten the code for a next generation of protocol. It's based on artificial intelligence. It basically solves the main key issues that blockchain is running into when you're talking to a manufacturing company, for example, which would be scale, which would be energy consumption, which would be the ability to integrate complex processes, and that basically requires fast and speed transactions. All those components have been fully redeveloped and offer a brand new interface for a new generation of blockchain. That's who we are.
That's great. Great little background. So when did you guys start the project? And I know you guys did some fundraising, so maybe you guys can give some details on how much you guys raised and when you did that.
Right. So the project really started almost 3 years ago. Start was two founders, Bilal and Fred, who are here with me here at the CES, who wrote what could be considered as some of the Bible of the next generation of blockchain. So they entirely broken down all the concepts of blockchain and looked at what had to be really rebuilt to achieve a next generation of blockchain, something more evolved, more sophisticated at what Ethereum can provide and provided in 2014. In 2018 was the time that was the right time for us to do it. So we launched the project through an ICO, which we've done in between 15th of March and 15th of April in 2018. We raised about 15,000 Ether at that time. You probably remember that at that time, the Ether was about $600 or something. So obviously with where it's at today, it's a bit of a different ball game. But we had basically structured the project for the worst in terms of context and economy. So that allowed us to basically go through all the milestones that we had committed in our white paper. So the status of the project right now is we've delivered the testnet in 31st of October. We're now working to deliver our mainnet sometime at the end of this month. Probably mid-Feb would be the time where we'd be ready. So, although the context is difficult, we're basically very much aligned with our milestones.
That's great, Bruno. And I'm glad that you guys planned for the worst and have contingency plans, on your roadmap and with the business plan, because we saw, the downtrend of the blockchain market in 2018, and it looks like we're stabilizing now, but you never know, and that's why it's always good to have contingencies. So how much was your guys' roadmap affected by the downturn in Ether price after you raised? And did you guys work on any hedging?
Right, so it's a good question. So we've not made any compromise on the technical commitment, which is key, because the next generation of blockchain requires a level of technology and sophistication that just cannot be downgraded. So from that standpoint, we basically are on spot with our commitments. What we had to change was basically the amount of marketing power, the traction, the hype that is necessary in our business. Obviously, we cannot spend the same amount of money. Us being at CES is a big commitment to this industry, but there's a lot of activities that we had to cut. So sometimes we have a very vibrant community that's talking to us. And so they keep asking for more and more and more, and we'd love to give them more, but sometimes it's just business decisions that we had to make. So no compromise on the technology. What we had to do basically was plan, which is that we have to going to finance the next steps of the project, basically starting at the mainnet launch by starting to use the reserve. The reserve is a number of tokens that we had allocated from the ICO days to basically start funding the next steps. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're running out in the last miles of basically the first phase of the project from a financial standpoint. We're counting our bullets, we're firing every bullet, and we'll be reaching the mainnet finish line pretty much with our pockets empty, to be honest. But it's exactly what was planned. So we're going to basically now, we're working with customers who are now willing to be embarked into pilot projects that are going to be funded customers and can start to bring us some nice colors to our cash flow. That's going to be good.
That's great, Bruno. It's great to hear that you guys are still on target, and I'm excited for the mainnet launch. And you mentioned, you guys are at CES. I'd like to know a little bit about, the environment there. It's one of the biggest electronic shows of the year. Why did you guys choose to go to CES? What is it the right choice? And do you see blockchain and crypto, in there a lot, or is it really just the big players still?
Great point. We don't see a lot of blockchain players. There's actually one out there, which is a few blocks away from ours, but very limited. So that triggers the right question from you, saying, why are you there? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward for us, is we're not dedicated at specific, like either gaming or financial applications only that will really box us into a small domain area of what blockchain can deliver to the economy. We're all coming from a technology background, but also manufacturing background. That's where I come from, and my everyday life is to work with the largest companies in the world, and they are all around us. In front of us is the Raytheon booth. Behind us is the Samsung booth, Sony, and these guys have the real challenges of how to compete in the world today, and they need to find new competitive weapons. Blockchain is one of them. So they are coming to us saying, yeah, we need some of you guys, some of your technology to try to differentiate. So in a nutshell, we're here because this economy, this industry is going to start looking at blockchain as a weapon, and being here for us was just an obvious thing to do.
Yeah, and I'm really great that you guys are representing, the blockchain there, and that there are at least a few blockchain companies there to represent. So we'll see how CES 2020 is. I'm sure that it could be drastically different as well. So let's go back to Neurochain on the markets. You guys mentioned that you guys have been tapping into the reserve a little bit. I know that Neurochain is already listed on some exchanges. I believe Huobi Next, System Coin, and IDAX. I'm not sure if that one's complete yet. Could you touch a little bit on the exchanges?
Sure. So the three you just mentioned are correct. We actually listed on IDAX. It's the last one this Monday. So that was yesterday.
Okay.
So we now have three. We also wanted to have System Coin because it facilitates investment from the US, which is not always easy when with Huobi Next, which is a Chinese stock exchange.
Yep.
So, or platform. So this is not the end for us. We are solicited by other exchanges. To be honest, some of them are coming with outrageous prices. They still believe we are maybe 1 year ago, and they're asking for 30 Bitcoin or 40 Bitcoins, and it's just not going to happen. I mean, these guys know that the market conditions have changed, so we're looking for competitive, but also real exchanges, the one who really have real customers. So the top three or top four, I mean, that's the one that we'll be targeting now. We already have the third largest, which is Huobi, which I think is great. IDAX is one of the top 10 exchanges in the world. So we think we have a very decent shot at having a nice way for our investors to be traded. We're looking at the other one, but I think it will be probably more interesting for us to do this after we've released the mainnet.
Definitely.
The one that everybody wants us to go start with a B, and everybody knows which one it is. And I'm not going to mention the name. Obviously, these guys, we have not even addressed any email to these guys, and that's not even
for sure.
That's something that we want to do because we just want to do our job first, which is to deliver the technology. When we're there, I mean, we'll have a conversation. But at this point, we just do our job, deliver the milestones, deliver the roadmap, and we'll see that.
That's great. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the mainnet. You said it's a month and a bit away. It's coming up very quickly, and the markets, are sort of sideways right now. So I I think it's for the best as well, to align that with your guys' release. So that's great. So did you guys do an airdrop of Neurochain tokens as well to the investors? I heard a little bit about that. Maybe you could give some details and who is eligible for the airdrop?
Yes. We have a loyalty airdrop. So this airdrop rewards our early investors, the one who participated into the ICO days. They may see the price today as a bit of a slap in the face. So we want to reward them for being loyal and holding their tokens and potentially buying more. So we have an airdrop that every 3 months rewards all those who have at least the same amount and more from the days of the ICOs. So for this last airdrop, which basically took place on 31st of December, we looked at all of those who had basically bought more and kept the amount of tokens that they had received during the ICO days. Mm-hmm. And we are going to divide amongst them, so those the eligible one, 2 million tokens. And there's 2 more airdrops. The next one is going to be the end of March. The next one will be the end of June, I believe. And it's going to be we're going to increase the number of tokens every time. So basically being a loyal customer on your chain means that you're continuously receiving more tokens by basically staying in time. The question that I often receive from our investors and the one who are receiving those airdrops is what will happen at the time of the mainnet? Well, it will be very simple. We'll be swapping basically the tokens, the NCC ERC20 tokens, the new generation of tokens, and we'll make a one-to-one, basically one-to-one ratio to every of those tokens. So nobody would have to suffer any issues. We'll manage all this.
That's great. That's great. So you guys' mainnet is coming out in, February sometime. Are you guys pretty much done? Are you guys pretty much done everything and you're working on testing now? And then will the swap happen immediately after the mainnet is launched, or what's the timeline look like in that section?
So we're not done with everything. There's a few things that still need to be worked on. One of the big topic at this point in the project is security. Main mechanisms are in place. The protocol, the wallets, the ability to browse. All the bots. All this is done. We've demonstrated the whole protocol on a Raspberry, which demonstrates the ability to really lower the energy consumption, which I think is a great show. For $29 for a device, you can run an entire protocol. If you look at what other blockchain have to put in line in terms of hardware, that's pretty amazing. So that is done. When will that be really deployed and so on? Well, you have to understand that we will select a platform on which we'll make the exchange, the swap. And these platforms usually requires a couple of months of stability after the release before they start trading it, which, I understand and I think it's a great approach. So potentially, let's say if we're ready for the swap on February, mid-February, that probably means there'll be another couple months after that before we actually swap and let people trade, which I think is for the benefit of our investors. There's no point rushing this point, and I think everybody would feel more secure if we do it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense, Bruno. Awesome. And in terms of applications on top of Neurochain, do you guys have projects that are lined up to have business applications right when the mainnet's launched, or what kind of applications are you anticipating to be launched on Neurochain?
Yes, so we are launching here at CES one application already, which is called Neurochain Tracer. Neurochain Tracer was launched in our Blockchain Paris trade show a couple of months back, and we are now basically launching it on the US soil. So that is an application that is dealing with traceability. So it could be stock traceability and it could be food traceability. For those of you who are on our in Vegas, you can enjoy a demo. And Fred and I recorded a video that we're going to post later that basically shows a little demo of the app. So, blockchain is exciting if you can see something. Otherwise, it's just, tech buzzwords and doesn't really matter. So we are going to show really what it does for one field, which is very precise, which is traceability. food traceability, and it helps in our conversations with some of the customers that we have in China. If you look at the partners that we have signed up, they've all been signed up for benefit of those applications. So Sigfox is one of our big partner. They provide basically an IoT device that helps to geolocalize and timestamp all the blockchain operations. We've also worked on with other protocols to demonstrate the interoperability between blockchains. So one is a Chinese blockchain. We've worked with a blockchain as a service company, Morpheus Labs, in Singapore, that helps basically the scale. Because once you've got an entire blockchain protocol, you need to be able to provide to your customers the ability to very quickly open a node, enter your information in, and basically take part in the whole process. So all those partnerships that you can see in our websites have been carefully designed for the sake of having business applications deployed. And we'll start with a traceability DLT app, but there's going to be more. So that's what CES is for. We are discussing with other industries that are willing to be embarked into a specification. More to come once we have gone further in those discussions. Just to reveal for you in your show, there's a lot happening in healthcare. Healthcare is a big topic. It's hyper regulated, so it's been a lot of mind bombs all around, because you depending on who you're talking to and which country you're in, there's a lot of rules, but there's a ton of attention here. So we're working with this company, a startup company that is connected with a high-end company that is working on healthcare. So it's a big topic, but with more to come.
That's great, Bruno. Good for you guys to already have Tracer on the platform. Sounds like you guys have a lot of other partnerships in the works as well. So I'm excited to see how that flourishes. And we should do another follow-up, around mid-February, end of February, where we take a look at the mainnet and how the partnerships are flourishing. So are you guys looking for more people to get involved with Neurochain, and in what sections are you looking for? And how can people reach out to you guys if they want to get involved with the project?
Yeah, so there's two types of contacts that we're looking for. Obviously, we're looking for investors. So investors means people who are interested in buying and trading our tokens. That's pretty much obvious, and you can happily buy our tokens on the different platforms that we talked about earlier. Then we're talking to basically potential customers. So customers are anybody who's watching this and is involved in this company into a process with definition for 2019 and the next 5 years. I can't see any IT director or VP of engineering that doesn't have the term blockchain in his slides anyway when he's presenting to his board. They should be looking at us as the next generation blockchain protocol that should be looked at. And what we do is we basically love to be contacted by those companies who have very well-defined processes that they need us to take a look at. The team has a lot of industry expertise and understand quickly how to address those. And what we do is we come back with either a pilot proposal or a full demonstration that they can basically take to their board and show how blockchain takes them to another dimension or is a leap forward in the way they work and operate. So that's the kind of contact that we're looking at right now. We already had some great touches this morning only, so we hope the next 4 days are going to be even better.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruno. That's all the time that we have this time. Best of luck at CES with Neurochain. And let's follow up mid-February where we see how the mainnet's doing and how the company's flourishing. So good luck and see you next time.
Great. Thank you. It was very nice to have you, and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.